Another thing I wanted to talk about really briefly was the use of Perusall or Perusal or whatever it is you want to call it, because we won't be saying the word out loud. Let me share with you my screen. So you see Perusall right there. The website is right here, perusall.com, Perusall.com. If you land on this screen, that's great. This is the overall kind of welcome screen that you find at any website. If you press login, you'll see very quickly, it takes you to a place where you can use Facebook, Google, some other kind of like a Twitter ID to log in, or just your own username and password. You sign in and you'll see I've got several courses running in Perusall this semester, but English 338 might be the only one that you have. You click on that link and you'll see there's a library right here. So what are we doing when we use Perusall? Well, Perusall is what they call a social annotation tool. What's kind of cool about that, of course, is that we read individually for the most part. We're up in our rooms, we're at the library, we're by ourselves, we're staring at the book. With Perusall, the ways in which we read become something that we can try to understand, and the ways in which we respond to what we read can be conversation starters. So if I get into our first reading, Ross Kelly's What Do Students Need to Know About Rhetoric? I can open it really quickly, and you can see very quickly that the PDF just appears. Now I want you to read each PDF that I give you. Some of them are going to be longer, some are going to be shorter. This one is a pretty good overview, but you'll see very quickly that what you can do is you can highlight some amount of text. What do we do once we've highlighted it? Well, let's take a step back here for a second. Why would we highlight it? The idea of this social annotation tool, from my perspective, is not just to guarantee that you're reading, that you're understanding material. It's trying to figure out how you're understanding it. So I'm interested in those kinds of hotspots in the text that you would respond to, because they, for some reason, have triggered a kind of a thing in your brain. You're like, that's awesome. I never thought of that before. Or you say, I disagree with that for all of these reasons. Or you say, I wonder about that. I have a question. This social annotation tool, Perusall, will record those and ask that you actually put that down in some way that I can see how you're responding. So you can say, I don't understand, and you can press return. I don't understand then becomes tagged to this particular part of the PDF. Now, English 338, I have actually 60 students across 2 sections, and that would get a little onerous if 60 students all were commenting on a 4-page PDF. So we're not doing that. I've set up some groups, and you'll be dumped into a group when you log in for the first time and start working with each of these PDFs. So you'll have about 14 other people who are also reading and responding as you do. What I'd like for this assignment, and I will just give you the 15 points, which is the 15% of your final grade for doing it, is a couple of times each reading, I would like you to respond in some way, with a question, with an agreement, with an extension, with a disagreement, with responding to someone else's question, with conversations that we're having as students in each PDF about the things that we're reading. So you'll see as we go on, there might be any number of things that you respond to. If I say, for example, the speaker right here, I say, what? Well, let's put in more detail than that. What about in writing, though? I'm being very brief. I'd like you to be a little bit more focused and detailed than I'm being right here. You see the kinds of things that I'm doing. We could be starting a conversation in that way. And that's the kind of thing that I'd like to see happen. Okay, thank you.